Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to go over how to create a rectangular array in AutoCAD. Very useful and helpful tool, especially if you do not want to copy and create multiple of the same object. What it's going to do is allow you to take an object and create an array of it. So basically allow you to create an object, take an object and put it into rows and columns into a drawing in sets of multiple. So again, very useful function. It's a very good one to know. So with that, let's get into the video. Alright, so before we create an array, we're going to have to find out where the array function button is. So how do I create an array? We're going to go up here to the modify box, go to the home tab, and as you can see right here is the array button. So right next to it is a drop down list, and these are the give you the array options, and that's the rectangular array, the path array, the polar array. But for right now, we're just going to look at the rectangular array. So we're going to click that, and then we're going to bring it down here, and we want to array this circle. So we want to make it multiple circles and rows and columns in a rectangular format. So we're going to select the circle, left-hand click, press enter, and as you can see, it immediately gives us the default number, which is 4 columns, 3 rows, and it's, if you can see up top, it's giving us the array creation ribbon. So this ribbon is going to be very similar to what comes up when you're hatching something and with multiple other AutoCAD functions. So for this, we'll start from the left to right, and as you can see, it's giving us the type which is rectangular, and then it's giving us the columns. So right here, we can adjust the columns. We can say we want 6 columns, enter, and as you can see, it added 2 columns to the 4 we already had, and we're going to update how much size we want between. So right now, it's around 15,000 units. We're going to bring it point to point just to, we'll call it 10,000, okay? Click enter, and as you can see, it brought the circles very close to each other. Again, that's 10,000 between each point, and it's also going to give us the total space in between as well from this end to this end. So that really is adjusted with the between numbers, but you can also adjust that if you want it to fit somewhere. So for example, I wanted this array to fit in to a space that's 50,000 units. I adjust that total instead of the in between, and then it'll adjust the in between total uh, into that 50,000 unit space. So next thing we're going to look at is the rows. So let's update the rows. Let's create 6 rows instead. And as you can see, it adds 6 rows. And we, again, can do the same thing with the space between the rows right here. So we're going to call it 10,000 units again. And as you can see, it crunched them down, and pretty much everything's connected and touching now. And this will also adjust the total, which is 50,000, and that is from this point to this point. And then we have levels. So levels are going to be used for more 3D drawings, so we aren't going to get quite into those right now. But I do want to go over the associative and base point options you have in the properties. So the associative, what that's going to do is when I turn this on, it's going to add everything up. It's all these circles in there are going to be one group. So it basically takes this array and makes it movable as one. So if I have that as on associative, I can move that entire array as one. If I take that off, I can remove every individual circle. So I don't have to keep that array as one individual movable unit. I can create it as one. But we're going to keep it on for right now because chances are if you're making an array, you want that array to stick together. The next option I have is the base point option. So this option right here is going to allow me to change the base point from this circle right down here to any other circle. So I can change it here, and then if I want to change the base point to here, I can do that, and then I can change it back here. So as you can see, there are also little grippers on the array, and instead of coming up here to change the rows and columns, I can just go right here, and I can actually slide up or down to change that, and then I can come right here and slide up or down, and really, you know, kind of move it in and out right here if I want to. I kind of have more flexibility and freedom, and if your snap or object snap function is on, then you'll be able to snap these to different objects and get them to fit that way. So you don't have to have a specific number. The last thing I want to go over real quick for this portion is just the close array button. So when you're done with it, you can just click enter or escape and then close array. And as you can see, the array is now made. Alright, so now that we've gone over how to create a rectangular array, I'm going to show you a couple options you have if you want to edit your array. So this can be anything from changing the shape, adding something internal to every array object, a couple other options as well. So for this example right here, say we want to add a bullseye circle to this array. So what we're going to do is we're going to left-hand click on it, and then it's going to take us to that same array creation ribbon up top, but instead it's going to give us a couple extra options to the right where it says options, and it's going to say we can edit the source, replace the item, or reset the array. So to edit the source, what that's going to do is it's going to allow us to create something else or edit it and change all the other objects in the array as well. So to show you what I mean is we're going to left-hand click on it, and it's going to ask us to select an item in the array that we want to edit or the source object. So we're going to create just this circle right here's the source. And then it's going to ask us to edit the source object of the associated array. It's going to give us this pop-up box that says, hey, you're editing this and you're allowed to, but you're going to be in this editing array state, just an FYI. So when you're done with it, enter array close to exit the editing state. So we're going to click OK because this is fine. Again, just to be aware of it. And now if you can see right down here, our lower left-hand corner, it's giving us this funky, weird colored XYZ coordinate, and it's not the white one that we typically would see. Everything else looks normal, but in actuality, we're going to want to now edit these circles. We're in this editing state. So say I want to put a bullseye within these circles. I'm going to come up to the circle, and it's showing us, it blots out or blanks out every other circle in the array except the source object that I wanted to edit. And we're just going to add a circle in here. Going to do that. And as you can see, after I left-hand click and added the circle, it added the circle to everything else. So since we are done adding this bullseye circle to the entire array, I'm going to come down to the command bar, type in array close. Obviously, as you can see it, click enter, and it's going to ask us if we want to save the changes to the array objects. We're going to click yes. And as you can see, now our array has this bullseye type thing in the middle of every single circle in that array just by editing the source object. Alright, so say for example, since we just went over how to update an array, say we want to just take out the shape and just put a brand new one in there. So here we have the same array we just worked on, plus a square on the side, the left-hand side. So I want to take that square and I want to put it in the middle. I want to change the middle 9 arrays right here, and I want to update it with that square, the middle 9 circles. So when you replace an item, it's going to replace the entirety of the circle. So it's not just going to replace the little guy in between, it's going to replace the big one as well. So to do this, we're going to go ahead, click on it. It's going to bring up that ribbon that we were just at. And instead of edit source, we're going to go right here to replace the item. We're going to left-hand click. And then I'm going to go over and it's asking us to select the replacement objects. I'm going to left-hand click on this square rectangle, click enter. And then it's going to ask us to take the midpoint. So it's the midpoint of the replacement objects. You can do the midpoint, you can do really any point you want, but I like the midpoint because it's nice and square and center. We're going to go there, and then we're going to show where we want to replace it. So I said these 9 right here, we're going to just start clicking on them. And as you can see, it's starting to replace all of the 9 that I want to replace, okay? So as you can see too, the lines on those replacement squares are dotted. All we have to do is click enter, and they show up, and it's going to ask us, it's going to give us a couple options. We're going to go down here, click exit. And as you can see now, it is full squares in the middle with the circle arrays around the edges. To kind of bring it back to its original form if you want to, instead of clicking Control-Z like normal, we can actually just go ahead and press the Reset Array button, and it takes all those squares that we just put in there, disappears them, makes them go away, right? So again, that is how to use the Replace Item function if you wanted to replace some certain objects in your array. Alright, so that's going to wrap the video up. Thank you for watching again. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you thought the video was helpful and you liked it, leave it a like down below. If you have any comments, recommendations, suggestions on a video you want to see, leave them in the comments below. I will really try and make a video of them. I'm trying to put out as much helpful content as I can for more beginners of the channel. So, again, thank you for watching, and I hope everyone has a good rest of their day.